Hello and welcome to our live stream Q&A, live on Fox's TV and on Facebook. This evening we're answering questions from you, the fans, to reflect on the disappointing start to the county championship season, but also to look ahead to the Vitality Blast competition that kicks off this Thursday, Upton Steel County Ground against Durham. Tonight we're joined by Director of Cricket Claude Henderson, Head Coach Paul Nixon, County Championship Captain Callum Parkinson and T20 Captain Colin Ackermann. If you haven't already asked your questions, don't forget you can send them in via the live chat on Facebook and on YouTube as well, and we'll do our best to answer them between now and 7 p.m. Apologies for the overlay. It's the T20 game that was here early today against Derbyshire. We're not bragging, but we did win that game by 7 wickets with 6 overs to spare, so that will be on the screen for the entirety. So apologies for that. But without further ado then, let's get started. So first question for Claude. It's regarding recruitment at the club and about this winter. Obviously went for overseas players and of course a mix of youth as well. So how do you feel the recruitment's gone over the winter, looking into the start of the season?
Yeah, so obviously last year was a great season for Marcus Harris. He did wonderfully well. The clubs decided over the winter that because of budget and because of the balance of the bowling attack that we wanted to look at a opening bowler option. So we've gone for Bjorn Hendricks. Vian Mulder was already signed, then COVID arrived, so that was all in place. Yeah.
And a question for Nico. This is from Sud Palmer, who's asking about the coaching staff. Obviously brought in Alfonso over the winter as well. How do you feel that he's settled into the club?
Good evening, everybody. Alfonso is a highly experienced cricketer with an outstanding record in white ball cricket and four-day cricket. As a coach, is somebody who has very high standards, somebody that's got incredible discipline about his mindset and his life, and he's a strong guy, he's a winner. And the reason that Claude and I went through the process, the interview process, there's a lot of good coaches out there, and finally picked Alfonso was because of those reasons. He's very driven, he's very passionate. He's someone who will add great value to the club. He's got a young, inexperienced attack to really coach. At Hampshire, he had Mohamed Abbas, Keith Barker, Abbott, world-class bowlers. This is a great challenge for him. We've got a lot of guys who haven't yet really cemented themselves and been consistent enough in first-class cricket. At their best, they can be very good. At their worst, we've seen that a little bit too often this last year with bat and ball. And we're chatting all the time non-stop to make things better. And Alfonso's passionate about what he does and his knowledge. We've only just seen that today with the white ball cricket. We had a really successful day against Derbyshire, and the white ball plans are outstanding from the bowlers.
Just to go back to Claude, to the recruitment side of things, we've had questions from a few people, including Will Worthington, about possible loan signings. Is that something the club can look at throughout the season?
Yes, we can, but we've got a large squad. We've got a lot of opportunity for our current squad, so we'll make that decision at the right time. I still think we're very early in the season, so there's a lot of cricket to be played. When you're forced to do that, there's definitely an option.
And people have asked as well about the balance of the squad. Again, Will's touched on that we have 11 seam bowlers contracted for red ball cricket. Do you feel that there is, a balance or imbalance to the squad slightly?
Yeah, look, it sounds like a large squad, but like Nico said, it's a young bowling squad, a bowling attack. So there's an opportunity for a lot of people to put their hand up. We've got to get the balance right between experience and youth, which is important. At the end of the season, that will be reviewed and decisions will be made.
And can I just say on that, Jack, as well, just regarding the bowling unit, you generally always have 2 seamers injured in a club. There's a first team games to do, there's second team games to play. So there's generally always 2, if not 3. So we have to be mindful that it is definitely a squad effort throughout the year.
And just touching on some of the performances this season, I think some of the fans, including Nicholas Hopkin, have talked about sort of a Groundhog Day and deja vu, that we've sort of had the same problems coming in. We're getting teams, 30 for 3, 40 for 4, and then not going on to skittle them out quickly. And the same with the batting hand. Have you felt that that's been the plague of the season?
Oh, absolutely. It's we first game of the year we had Worcester 40 for 4. and we dropped a couple of catches which cost us. They went on to get a decent score, and again, yes, we got a draw, but we're on the back foot. We've been on the back foot too many times this year. We've not scored enough runs in our first innings. It's harmed us. We've spoken about that as a group. We've spoken about that as a batting unit. We've tried various plans about how we look to play, whether it's in time or whether it's in blocks of overs or whether it's in 10 over partnerships, 5 over partnerships, and that's something that we'll review now. We've got a bit of time now. The 2020, we've had the hardest schedule that any team's had. 7 games in 7 weeks has been really tough, and that takes its toll on everybody. It's time to come back and reflect. We'll have that opportunity over the next few days, whilst there's a little bit of downtime after a T20 game to sit and review things, and we'll look for solutions. We've got a lot more games left, 7 games left. We've got to make sure that we win 3 or 4 of those games down the line. Hopefully T20 can give us some really good impetus to move confidence and belief forward. The group's still in a really good place as far as mentally, the balance of the team. We've given guys the right time off at the right time and the right practice times at the right time. And, our mantra is the hardest working, most caring cricket team, and we make sure that we do that. So, we're all frustrated. We all want to do better. We all care passionately. The players are doing it for their living. They don't want to, have low scores as batsmen and not take any wickets and go for runs as bowlers. It hurts them a lot. And, it's a young squad that, we're looking at over the next few months. And let's see where we go. But, every game's, we'll look at it and take it very, very seriously and very competitively.
Nicholas again has touched on reconsidering the batting order. And a question for you, Parky, from Will Worthington. It's been quite complimentary about you. You said that you represent everything that's good about our club with your professionalism and character, your fight and determination. But he said that you were batting at 10 in the last game. Do you feel that that's a bit too low for you? Should we be batting high with the way you've been going about it?
Yeah, I agree with him, 100%. No, I've worked hard on my batting. I'm always in conversation with Colin and Nico about how I can improve, and I think it shows the depth we do have as a club. Everyone values their batting, everyone works really hard, and obviously disappointed to be batting at 10, but I guess it shows the strength and depth that we do have.
And a question then for Colin on that. We've obviously seen a lot of individual players make scores throughout the season in different games, but it's not quite come together as a collective in any game. How frustrating is that to see, sort of a senior player in the batting lineup?
Yeah, it's obviously been tough as a batting unit. Like Nico alluded to earlier, we just haven't got our first innings runs. And, when you're behind the 8 ball, it's difficult to get back into the game. Haas, I think, has done really well this season as opening batter. He's already got 100 against Worcester in the first game, so shows it can be done. We just need to kick on as a middle order, I think. Myself included, hasn't really been the season I would have hoped for yet, but I'm hoping to turn that around.
And a question for Nico on the batting. We've seen, obviously, we've not had Marcus Harris this year, but we've been hurt by overseas batsmen, haven't we? How well have they played against us? I think the likes of David Bedingham and Shah Massoud, for example. Yeah,
they've been world class, and David Bedingham was somebody I looked at a couple of years ago. But if he was going to be a call-back player, we were quite keen on him. But he's improved his game a lot, and this year has been outstanding. His chanceless knock away at Durham played beautifully. Massoud is high class, his second double 100, and overseas pros have really hurt us this year. So that's well played them. As a unit, as a bowling unit, we haven't hit the top of off stump enough. We haven't brought batsmen enough forward. We're looking at mid to high 30s, early 40%, bringing batsmen forward at a front foot defensive shot. That's crucial. We haven't hit those numbers, anywhere near those numbers. And as a batting unit, we haven't, as Colin says, we haven't fired. We haven't got big scores. We've got 20s and got out. We've got on good pitches. These pitches, the start of the year, the weather's been good. The pitches have been magnificent to bat on, and that's been the frustration as a head coach and somebody who looks after the batting unit in the club. We practice well. We've prepped well in the winter. We've challenged the guys. Bowling machines, sort of 15 yards at 80 miles an hour, 85 miles an hour, huge in swing, huge away swing, short ball at 85 to 92 miles an hour. We've done a month on plane spin. So the guys are equipped and we know what we're doing. Execution at the right time hasn't worked. We've had 1 or 2 bad decisions that have cost us. This game's fine margins, and that's where we know that as pros it can be frustrating for our fans, and it is for our families and friends as well, and us within the club. We're very frustrated, but we still have a spirit, we still have a belief that we can turn it around, and it's up to every single one of us to keep giving, to give to ourselves and to the team, and there's no blame, bat v ball, we're all in it together. And we stay strong, and as Sean, our CEO, says, we stand shoulder to shoulder, and that's how we have to do it all the way through the season.
And a frustrating thing maybe on the other side with the bowling, something James Smith's talked about, the high number of no balls that have been bowled recently. That must be really frustrating to see when we're leaking quite a lot of extras in the first innings and the second as well. Yeah,
it's a great point. And Alfonso, bowling coach, challenged highly the bowling unit when all this was happening, all the no balls were happening. Every ball in practice is behind the line, whether it's out in the middle, a centre wicket, whether it's a ball through before a game, or whether it's in the nets in a practice game, in a practice area. We have to be behind the line for consistency of our line and length and consistency of the feel of the ball coming out of your hand. So we haven't been consistent enough in our areas, and that's a massive part of it. And players, we even looked at finding players as an internal, and that's being reviewed at the moment, because it's unacceptable to bowl that many. The odd one's going to happen. People are striving, bowlers are striving for that extra pace. We haven't scored the runs. Bowlers want to put in a bit more because they want to try and dig our batsmen out of trouble and help the team. It's easy just to go over the line, but Glamorgan was the one that really hurt us. It was way too many, and if we'd not bowled that many no balls, we'd got a few more runs. 170 for 2, I believe we were. We score a big score there. We fell in we had another bad session, and it's those bad sessions that are costing us. For me, it's not the no balls. Yes, there has been bad no balls in a particular game, but actually, we have to get better at absorbing pressure. And I think that Marcus Harris helped that with the batting unit last year. Unfortunately, this year we couldn't afford Marcus. Other clubs came in and wanted him for 3 formats and paid him big money, and we respect that. But that's where we need our bowling unit to be consistent and learn from that. And everything now is behind the line. I guarantee you that.
A question for Claude. We're obviously talking about recruitment again. A few people have asked about the model. Maybe we're going to look at more experienced players going forward. Is that something that the club can consider? We've brought in so many young players.
For us to develop our young cricketers and for us to compete with the first team, we do need to get that balance right. That's key.
A question for Parky. Some people have asked about the confidence in the side and them around the camp. What can you say on that at the moment?
Yeah, we've stuck together really well. It's not been an ideal start, we all know that, and the lads are hurting. But we're really looking forward to the T20s. We're a really young group. We're very tight knit, and we've got a great support network. The coaches are fully backing the lads to hit the T20s hard, and I can't say a bad word about the lads. They put in 100%, and yeah, we're a really, really tight group, and hopefully that can continue into the 2020s.
And the same question for you, Ackers, really. You'd have seen the same sort of thing. How have you felt about the team spirit throughout the season? And obviously, pre-season as well over the winter. We had a good camp away in Desert Springs and in that early part of the season.
Yeah, similar to Parky, really. I think we're a tight-knit group. We stick together through hard times. We win together, we lose together. Going into the T20s now, it's obviously an exciting time. It's a great time to play cricket, T20s, so looking forward to that, and I'm sure you'll see some great performances from everyone moving forward.
We will get on to the T20 shortly, of course. Just to go back to Nico, questions few people have asked, including Mike Stevens, about some of the second team guys. We might see some of them in the T20, likes of Roman Walker. He's picked out a few of them that have been involved on the bowling point of view that haven't quite been in the first team yet, the likes of Walker, Alex Evans, Will Davis, Nat Bowler, Gav Griffiths. Can we expect to see them soon, or is there reasons why they're not quite in the team as yet? Yeah,
you've got to earn your right to get in our first team. It's not just about giving people opportunity to 2 wickets in the second team doesn't make you a good bowler to bowl in the first team. We brought Roman in, and we had some fantastic performances. Roman over the last year or so down at Glamorgan with a white ball. He opened the ball in today and bowled beautifully in our game, which the sort of first team, we hijacked the second team game to give us some good practice for T20. We see Roman to come into this first team more with a white ball to start with. And then as he gets more confidence and he delivers some good performances in the second team with the red ball, then obviously we'll look at him for that. But again, he needs to be a fraction more consistent with the red ball, the games that he's played so far. But he's done really well in white ball cricket. He got 4 wickets in the second team, one of his last bowling sessions. Young Alex Evans has just lost a bit of confidence of late. Alex hasn't hit the straps he'd like to have hit. And that's cricket. You have little spells of low times, and Alex is just having one of those at the moment. Young Nat Bowley, Nat's 20, 21 years old. He's had a really tough time with his back over the last few years, a lot of time out with injury. He's gaining his confidence. It's tough for Nat at the moment because we've got a high-class spinner in Callum Parkinson. Obviously, Colin Ackermann as well, bowls beautiful off-spin. And we've got Rehan as well, who's in the mixer now, bowling leg spin. So his pathway's tough to come through. He has to wait for these guys to have ridiculously bad performances, or he's got to be absolutely outstanding to play in the first team. And again, the balance of the team has to be right to do that. So everybody's in the mixer. It's about confidence, who's doing well, who's earned the right, and we make those calls at the right time.
Obviously, one of the positives to come out, question for Parky, is Rayan was given his debut against Worcestershire. Against this weekend. How do you feel that he did? Obviously, as a spinner yourself, a young guy coming through. How's he transitioned from second team cricket through the age groups into first team cricket?
Yeah, he did really well last week. Took to it like a duck to water, really. He's a very confident young man. I thought he bowled really nicely on day 2. Held length really well, and he didn't look overawed. I pulled him to one side and said, that's as hard as it's going to be. You're bowling at Azhar Ali, who's on 150, and I thought he held his own. I thought he did really well, and he showed good signs with the bat as well in the second innings. So he's a really exciting talent, and I'm hoping he can push on in the T20s as well.
And to Ahmed as well, you've seen another player come through in Rishi Patel this season. He obviously had a few chances beforehand and had injury plague his start to the season, but we've seen just how good he is, especially at number 3. So how important can he be for the Red Bull team going forward this season?
Yeah, I think he's a top-class player. He was unlucky to get injured start of the season. He missed quite a few games for us. I think he's got great attributes as a batter. He's used to open the batting, so he's got a great technique. But what excites me about Rishi is that he can play white ball and red ball. He's obviously got great skills in the white ball format as well. He can clear the boundary at will, so he'll be one to watch in the T20s for sure.
A question then for Claude, coming in from David Welch. What is the long-term plan to improve the squad with the current financial constraints?
I think we're short of a coach. Obviously, I've got to look at the budget at the end of the year and see where we go. We definitely need experience. Those are probably the 2 areas I think we need to look after our young talent. We need to make sure we develop them well and give ourselves a chance to deliver on the pitch.
And for Nico, a few questions have come in. We spoke before about the need for a director of cricket and Claude's role. How do you feel that's helped you taking some of that pressure away from all the demands that you have? Yeah,
absolutely. It's crucial, and I think that ECB, their remit, the county partnership agreement, the CPA, that's part of it. You've got to have a director of cricket, organise, for me, doing the batting coaching, the head coaching role, helping the keepers as well. And the director of cricket was way too much, and you dilute yourself, you dilute your quality. And we as a small club always have to muck in, and we have to. Our finances aren't as big as other clubs, so we do our best. And I was doing too much, and it was harming me and harming the club. So great to have Claude here. We have a great relationship moving forwards about who we attract to the club, the balance of the team. The new signings. Claude works closely with the ground staff and the groundsmen, with agents helping out with recruitment and who's pushing who and loan players, etc. The hiring and firing of the club is down to Claude now rather than myself. That helps me get a little bit close to the players as well, which is important. People are always different to the guy that hires them and fires them. I really believe that in all walks of life. And it helps me, we all know in life that, sometimes people players can tell you what you want to hear. and that's not what that's about. It's about the right things, and where Claude can have a little bit more distance, it helps me with the players a little bit deeper on deeper level. So it's really important that we all share the workload.
Claude, you've spoken about the method off the pitch in terms of recruitment. A question from Chris Wilkinson is, how do you see the overall club growth developing over the next few years?
Well, we've got a new head of pathway, Jiganake, so that's extremely important to make sure that young talent gets recognised and developed. We've got to make sure we create enough opportunities in the second team for players to develop in all three formats. And like I said, we need the balance of experience and talent in the first team, and the right coaching structure to make sure we can give ourselves the best chance of not only performing but develop.
A question for Parky, just as we come towards the end of talking about the county championship. What's the understanding within the team? I know it's quite hard to put a finger on just one thing maybe, but why has the results been not as the way we've planned so far this season, and what are the plans to turn that around?
I think there's a number of reasons. Players haven't performed as well as we'd like to. On the whole, no one stood up when we really needed to. We've lost crucial moments during games, and we talk often about dragging partnerships out with bat and ball, and we've not been able to do that. Teams have kind of put pressure on us, and we've not managed to withstand that for long enough periods. So the lads know what needs to be done moving forward in the red ball at the end of the year, and I think there's a real belief and determination that we owe the fans better performances in the red ball, and hopefully that will come at the end of the season.
And just finally then, Nico, to touch on the red ball prospects. Of course, we're going to talk about T20, but when red ball resumes, what is your message to the fans that have maybe seen that positivity slightly drain away from the start of the season?
We'll be doing everything in our control. We'll look at everything. We'll in minute detail. We'll go through everything, how it's been. We'll have some very honest chats, some open reflections, and make sure that in the middle of the T20s we've got Nottinghamshire. We've got to make sure we put a hell of a performance in there, and we've had a good record against them in white ball cricket, and in red we've done all right. And it's time now that we go out and play. I think the positivity from T20, we can take that positivity into our 4-day cricket, and let's I want the players to do it for themselves and the supporters.
And just as then we're moving on, Claude, to T20 cricket. Of course, it starts this week here against Durham on Thursday. We've just announced a new signing today of Hayley Schwerford. What do you think he can add to the squad?
Yeah, it's unfortunate about Gurbas. That Afghanistan Cricket Board has rescheduled that tour to Zim. But then more exciting, we've got Rutherford joining us on Wednesday. He's got a strike rate of 130 plus. He's got an international experience. He's done really well for Glamorgan last year in the 50-over format, and it will be great to have him here. It gives us a good balance up the order, and this club's always shown with the T20 when that arrives, it's a new season within a season, and it's an opportunity for us to have some fun.
A question for you, Parky, about the same then. Hamish Rutherford coming in, obviously an international class batsman and someone that had a bit of experience as well. So how do you feel that will help the squad this summer?
Yeah, it's a massive addition for us. He's a left-handed batter as well at the top, which becomes more problematic for other teams. He's obviously a player with a lot of experience, and hopefully our batters can really tap into his knowledge. And I echo what Claude said. It's a really exciting time of the season, and I know the boys are all pumped to get going on Thursday, and I know Hamish is going to be a massive player for us.
And to Nick, obviously, it's been sort of a short turnaround with Hamish signing, but that shows that the depth and the work that goes in from the scouting department to find these players, sort of like Naveen last year, top wicket taker in the Blast, who maybe people that hadn't heard of before. Gurbaz was an exciting one. Now Hamish coming in. They're all quality players, and it shows that the scouting at the club really can work within the budget.
Yeah, we've got Dan Weston, who we use, who's been tremendous. His algorithms on computers can give us any stat and any information that we want. And where it's tough for Claude is when these tournaments happen really quickly. All of a sudden, somebody announces a new tournament at the drop of a hat. We've got a short window to get players in, and in that time, Dan Neese, who's sort of cricket liaison officer, and Claude have got to work very quickly and very astutely to get these players, because there's various visas to organise, and it's in a limited time. So These things take planning, preparation, a lot of work at all hours of the night to make sure that we have the best opportunity of winning cricket matches for ourselves and for the supporters.
And to Ackers, how difficult is it for you, to change your mindset from one format to another? The brand of cricket you need to play in T20 with your shot selection, perhaps those more unconventional ramps or sweeps, it's vastly different to the 4-day game. So can you just flick the switch quickly, or does it take time to get into that mode?
Well, personally, I find it easier to switch from 4-day to T20 cricket. In 4-day cricket, you work on your basics, your technique. Once that's cemented, that's your base to work from. And T20 cricket is just an expansion of that. So the basics still apply. It's just your mindset change, moving into T20 cricket. We've got the fans encouraging us all the time, so that obviously brings a lot of energy. And guys want to express themselves, and that's pretty much the mindset moving into T20 cricket now.
The same question to you, Parky, as well. Obviously, you've got to bowl to different fields, with batsmen having maybe a far more aggressive mindset with bat in hand, a chance maybe to throw in more variations than you would do in red ball cricket. So how do you go about switching from one format in such a tight turnaround?
Yeah, probably echo what Colin says. I find it easier to jump into the white ball. It's a format that we've all played a lot of, in the past couple of years, and I think role clarity. The lads all know moving into the tournament what's expected of them, kind of when they'll be bowling, what kind of role they're going to have with the bat. So I think because of the good clear messages we're receiving as a playing group, it should help with the transition being quite quickly.
And Nico, how do you go about coaching maybe differently in terms of setting up with the lads for T20s? Obviously, different mindset, as I say, with bat and ball. How do you go about coaching that?
We do a lot of white ball skill sessions in the winter. We have red ball and white ball. We used to do sort of one white ball session a week. We do power hitting scenarios, various sessions in the winter where we have competitions against each other, 2 teams in the indoor school, or whether it's at Loughborough University. We sit down with guys and talk about their roles, where we think, what they think, and we'll come out with the right solutions and take it from there. So the nice thing is we've got a fantastic facility here at Upton Steel County Ground to make that happen. Guys can be playing red ball cricket out there. When somebody's out at the right time, you can go in and do some white ball work. So we have to be smart. We did a bit of white ball work at Worcester last few days, which was great. And then the second team game that we hijacked today for the first team, which worked well. But again, the guys have got a good cemented basics. It's about expression, commitment, and about being smart and knowing their areas to each bowler. We do a lot of preparation with the opposition. We try and get the matchups right. And, the right people at the right time against the right matchups can often be the difference. And that's where we look to go. It's slightly more advanced now with a sort of money ball type of preparation. But, we're really excited. We've played beautifully today. Acker's got a brilliant 70 out of 30 balls today. The guys executed really well. We knocked 154 off in 13 overs. So, there's going to be times that we smash it out of the park magnificently well. There's T20 cricket. There's days that it doesn't go so well. But we believe that we've got every box covered within our unit. And on the night, it's about execution. And, it's about confidence to execute and belief in your game. And it's our time to build those.
And to ask on that subject of matchups to Ackers, obviously as captain, we talk about now how important T20 is and evolved into cherry picking exact matchups with bowlers versus batsmen. So as captain, how heavily involved are you with the coaches and the analysts to decide who you should choose to come on to bowl when, or who should come in next to bat, for example?
Oh, very involved. We have meetings with Dan West and with Claude, with Nico, and we plan kind of way to navigate through a T20 game, so we kind of know our matchups against each batter. If certain batters prefer facing seam bowling or spin bowling or left arm spin or right arm spin, all these come into the equation, and we go through it thoroughly before every game.
The question for Claude on T20, we obviously talked about the recruitment of players and of coaches over the winter. Alfonso came in just before the start of the season. He obviously had a famed reputation for his T20 bowling as well. I think the joint leading wicket taker for Somerset, and you might have faced him at a time, but particularly at the death as well. How important will that influence be for us, given how important bowling at the death is in T20?
Massive. He's got a lot of experience. He's a very well organised and planned individual when it comes to T20 cricket. So it's very exciting, and I'm looking forward to see him working with our bowlers, and lots to learn, and let's hope he makes a difference.
And one for Parky. Obviously, we talk about the momentum. It's a bit of a tired cliche in cricket that, momentum is huge, but is it arguably more evident in any other form than in T20 because of the heightened frequency that games come so thick and fast that we need that momentum?
Yeah, massively. It's something we've struggled with in the past. We've been quite critical of ourselves starting tournaments slowly, and I think that's something we're really eager to put right. Like you said, T20 is all about momentum, getting out the blocks quick, winning your first couple can be massive, and hopefully this year, we start on Thursday with a win in front of our own supporters, and our first 2 games are at home, so hopefully starting well, like you said, momentum will be crucial for us moving forward.
Yeah, and to Nico on that, obviously we started last year with 5 defeats on the bounce. We were 1 win away from qualifying in the end, so that just shows how much it can hurt you, isn't it? If you don't get off to that great start necessarily, it can really hurt you throughout the remainder of the tournament.
Yeah, it is, and every game is a few runs here and a few runs there. It can be one hit quite often, so it is fine margins. We still keep our belief, and still we want to start well. We learnt a lot from last year, and there's a great feeling that it's really interesting in the camp about white ball cricket. You see over many years teams do really well in white ball and terribly in red, or brilliantly in red and rubbish in white. So lady luck can sometimes play a part in that as well. But work hard and you focus. We do everything that we can do in our control. We give it everything. Then I'm sure we'll get over the line more times than not.
A question for Claude on that sort of evolution of T20 cricket. You were really successful with the club in that format. How do you think it's changed, though, over the years from what you saw when you were playing to now what you see in your position as director of cricket?
Batsmen got better. Thank goodness I'm finished. The cricket's gone. Cricket's moved, and batsmen now score 360. Wickets are better. Bowlers have to be more smarter. You've got to be more well prepared. The game's moved on. It's exciting to see, but it's great also to see the young talent that we're seeing on the pitch. Rian Ahmed's in the squad, so exciting stuff.
And to Parky on that, we talk about the evolution of the game, probably even more difficult now as a bowler than ever before. So how do you go about constantly having to change, your analysis of how batsmen set up, given that they play these, unconventional shots now all around the ground?
I think there's 2 ways to look at it. Like Claude said, the game's moved forward a long way, and batsmen are a lot more equipped to dealing with what you deliver, basically. So do a lot of prep, a lot of studying of batsmen, and I think at the end of the day it comes down to what I can deliver and backing my own skills over the batsman, and if I do that more times than not, then hopefully I'll be successful.
And to Colin as well, you've by your own admission said that maybe the red ball form with the bat hasn't gone as well as you've liked, but is this now a chance for a reset, a bit of a clean slate? We saw today that's 70 odd off 38 balls or so, so is it a chance now just to let that frustration out and play a different way?
Yeah, it's a fresh start for me. I've kind of parked my 4-day form for now. I'm just in tune with what I need to do in the T20 game. Today was great to get a good score and win the game for the team. So hopefully that confidence goes into Thursday.
And obviously, I'm sure you've got confidence in the batting around you. We've seen, obviously, the announcement of Hamish coming in for this season, but also we've already seen in the T20 second 11 games likes of Scott Steele and Aaron Lilly, and again, stay out there showing their real class, and they can hit a long ball. So that must fill you with confidence that there's runs around you.
Yeah, we've got a quality squad in white ball cricket, no doubt about that. We've got obviously big boots to fill in Ingo. Ingo played beautifully for us last season, so some of the senior batters will have to step up and perform his role, what he did. He won 3 or 4 games single-handedly last season, so the likes of Rutherford at the top, Lils, myself, Rishi, we're going to have to step up and really, set the world alight this season.
And how did you feel out there today? Obviously, as I said, with that big score, 70 odd, you had 1-6 that absolutely cleared the ground. I don't know how far it went, probably into a different postcode. Do you feel in good rhythm out there today?
Yeah, I just gave myself a chance to get in. It was a used wicket. I think I was on 18 or for about 18, so I just wanted to spend a bit of time in the middle, have a look and see what's going on, and then always knew that I could, up the rate once I was in, and like that worked out today.
The question for Parky, obviously last season saw you become the leading wicket taker for the club in T20. I won't mention who you overtook, but do you feel that you can kick on again this season and take more wickets as you have done throughout your time at the club in T20 in particular?
Yeah, I'm certainly hoping so. I've really enjoyed my T20 cricket since I joined the club. Obviously delighted to go past Claude last year. It was something I had my eye on for a long time. So, like Colin said, I don't really care how many wickets I take. I just want to win games for the club and hopefully strive to make us reach finals day and get another trophy.
A question for Claude on that from Dave Crouch, who's asked, of the 3 T20 Cup winning seasons, which one gave you the most satisfaction and why?
The last one, when Paul Nixon took that fantastic catch to get rid of Pollard, it was really enjoyable. It was a special moment. The last one was for me the best. Yeah, great memories.
And Dave's also asked that question to you, Nico, of the 3, which is your favourite and why?
They're all magnificent to win any trophies. We know how hard you have to work for it, and the unit has to come together. So, yeah, I think for me personally, it's the last one. You want to have match-winning performances, and the last game of T20 cricket, to win that is very special and go out on a high, and the boys celebrate for about 3 days afterwards. Is always magical, and it's great memories, but they're gone now. We want those memories for the guys, and we want to get in those finals. We know what it takes. We've got the squad to do it. If we execute right and keep the belief and be smart at the right times and committed at the right times, then let's go on a great journey.
And Chris Wilkinson has asked, basically for Colin and Parky, who he should have in his T20 Blast Fantasy team out of the two of you. So Akkers, who are you saying, you or Parky?
I'd say Parky.
Parky, who are you saying?
Yeah, myself.
And just another question that's going from Dave is but to Akkers as well. Which player, excluding yourselves and the overseas players, do you think could make the biggest impact for the Foxes in the T20 this year?
I think Aaron Lilly showed signs last season that he's a serious player. I think he's very unlucky not to be involved in the 100. If you look at his stats and his career strike rate, it's through the roof. He's developed a lot as a player since joining Leicester. I think when he was at Lancs, he was used more of a luxury player. But now he's really kicked on and cemented his spot at number 3. So he's definitely one to watch this season.
And the same question for you, Parky.
I'll echo what Akkers said. I think Aaron's, one to watch. But to give you a different kind of viewpoint, I think kind of the axis of Rishi Patel and Louis Kimber, I think both of them could be really special players for the club moving forward. They're both, tall, strong hitters of a white cricket ball, and both extremely talented and work hard. So I think potentially one of them two could be a breakout year for them.
And Nico, we've already touched on the county championship rotation of bowling and questions about players that want to come in. Charlie Hack was talking about that as well, asking if any of the new signings like Thomas Griffin and Rowan Walker will be involved in a T20 match day. We haven't quite seen them yet in the county championship. Yes,
Roman's really been impressive over the last few second team games. He played in today's game and bowled nicely. Still work in progress. Roman and I chatted, and before he even came to the club, and he said, "I know I'm not the finished article, but I want you to make me the finished article. I want you and your coaching staff to get me there. I want to play higher honours. I'm driven and passionate. Help me, guide me." And so Roman's there. Thomas Griffin, all-rounder, who has just probably not quite got the runs and wickets he would have liked to yet in the second team. He's building his consistency. He wintered well. Scriv's ahead of his years as a young man, as far as his professionalism and his character. He's a very mature, calm young man who no doubt will play a part at some stage moving forward. So it's important that he gets some good confidence in the second team to bring him into the first team. That's how you earn your right to play in the first team. So yeah, we're looking forward to see how the guys do.
And for Claude on that one, again, we've seen Rayan Ahmed come into the squad in the county championship and could feature, as he did today, in the T20 Blast. How exciting is that for him, to show what he can do in white ball cricket as well?
Fantastic to have him. Fantastic to see him, 17-year-old, also in the 100. So it's great to see that young talent coming through, and that's a great message to future young talent that if you follow the right path and you do the right work behind the scenes, that there's always opportunities.
And Nico, again, I was talking to the guys each about the mindset change. How difficult do you think that is coming in from one format to the other in such a quick turnaround?
I think it's come at the right time for us as a club. We've had the hardest schedule in 7 games, 7 4-day games in 7 weeks. It's very tough. And it's now time to go and express ourselves. Perhaps we got, looking back, very briefly I've done over the last 24, 48 hours, perhaps we've got slightly too defensive at times the way we've played. And, moving forward, this is the perfect opportunity now to go the other way, to be ultra positive, to play a real exciting brand of cricket where we're looking to up our boundary percentage into the high teens, early 20s. And I know if we can do that as a club, we'll be successful.
And obviously as well, we've seen the return of Naveen today. He's been such a big player for us last season in the T20. I think he finished as the top leading wicket taker with 26 to his name, and he's back for another season. So how important is it to have him back and hopefully see him replicate that form? Yeah,
well, he bowled beautifully today. Naveen came in. He's only been here a few days. Bowled beautifully, wanted to play. He took the new ball, bowled a brilliant line of length. His slow balls again were world class. And he came out on top, which was great. He's had a bit of time off now. He's worked really hard on his fitness. He's played a lot of cricket around the world on the last sort of 18 months. He's now had a bit of time off. He's worked hard in the gym. He's got himself fitter and stronger. He's just tightened his action up a little bit as well, which is wonderful to see. And I know Alfonso's excited to work with him. So, he's a calm head. He's played a lot of T20 cricket for a young man. And he keeps badgering me about his batting as well, that he can hit a long ball. He thinks he can out-hit Ackers as well, which is great. So, he wants to win us a few games at the back end with a bat as well.
And for Ackers, a question from Jonathan Farmer on batting. He said, why is orthodox batting stances and setup a thing of the past, even for those players that specialise in the longer form of the game? So have you noticed that people maybe now aren't batting the same way as before?
Yeah, I've kind of noticed that batters are slightly more open in T20 cricket. I think if you look at old 4-day technique, you got to be a bit more side on, get your shoulder more into the ball. Nowadays in T20 cricket, I think you want to open yourself up slightly to open up both sides of the field. Like Claude mentioned earlier about having 360-degree players, it allows you to score more freely on the leg side and on the off side. So that's one technical change that I've seen.
And a question as well that's coming for you, Nico, from Mike Jones. Obviously, with Gurbaz not coming, we was expecting him maybe to open the batting and potentially keep wicket. So we looked at other options in terms of keeping wicket. Is Harry Swindles or maybe Lewis Hill potentially in that role?
Absolutely. We, it's the balance of the team is crucial. And, Gurbaz was going to keep wicket. Now we have to look elsewhere. Lewis has taken the gloves today and did a fantastic job. Traditionally, the numbers are about 7 balls to sort of 12 balls that a wicketkeeper catches, but those catches are very important and they win matches. So whoever keeps wicket for us has to do a good job. We'll work on that over the next few days and make sure that whoever takes the gloves for the first game is ready.
And just to look back, maybe, Ackers, have you been here now for quite a few years and in T20 cricket had some great moments? I know one that would especially stand out, but have you got a favourite T20 moment in Leicestershire shirt? Is it obvious?
Yeah, it is pretty obvious. That 7 for 18. It's hard to not say that. But yeah, I think we want to make new memories now. Those all in the past. I think we're ready now to really cement our place as a good a good T20 team in the country. I think obviously last season we came close to qualifying, just missing out narrowly by 1 game. So we want to rectify that, and we really want to be at finals there this year.
And you're confident the side can do that with the makeup of the team? Obviously, as I said, Naveen returning, the firepower up front and in the middle order. I think we've got a squad now that's really well balanced to push on to finals day.
Yeah, I think these 3 guys can testify this is probably the best balanced team we've had in quite a few years. We've got all types of spin. We got good pace options. We've also got guys that can hit the ball in the middle overs and at the death. So I think we're pretty well balanced going into the season.
And Parky as well for you again. Some great moments for you, including becoming the leading wicket taker. Is that the moment that stands out for you? Have you got a memory of your time at T20 that stands out as the best?
Yeah, it'd be hard to beat that one. I think it's something I'd worked a long time for. The only thing that probably come close was my debut at Egbert against Lancs. So. Just to echo what Colin says, I feel like we've got a really strong, well-balanced T20 side. We're really well led. Nico and Fons are coming up with some great ideas just to give us that 1% advantage. And, it's a really exciting time and I hope the boys, embrace it for what it is and the fans really get behind us and we make some more special moments moving forward.
Yeah, Claude, how important is that to have the fans here? Obviously, we've got a few seasons without fans because of COVID and restrictions, but now we can have full crowds back. They can generate that support for the boys, and it really makes a difference, doesn't it?
Makes a huge difference. It's always a magnificent place when this place is when Grace Road is packed and we play positive cricket and we enjoy ourselves, and it gives us that momentum and go and have fun. We've got match winners. We've got a group of 15, 16 match winners in this team, and it's a case of go and enjoy it, be positive, support the team.
And Nico, again, like Claude, you'll have seen that from both sides of the fence, really, as a player and now as a coach. That support can make a difference when they get behind the lads, especially generating that momentum and that atmosphere in the ground. It really can push them on.
Oh, it's massive. It's the 12th man for us. It was so surreal when this fantastic stadium was empty. Guys having to. Every shot just echoed around the ground. You could hear every shout. You could hear every call. That's not T20 cricket. It's noisy. It's fun. It's buzzing. The atmosphere is buzzing. The kids are coming in and shouting and screaming. And we want to entertain. Ultimately, we play cricket because we love it. But we want to Red Bull.
They're a talented squad. They've got a lot of big hitters. What are their threats, you think, out of the main batting out lineup and bowling attack?
Durham are a good side. They've been a Division 1 side in the past, and they've got international quality with them. But we know there's anybody on our day. The Durham ground is a big ground. It's had a low boundary percentage compared to a lot of the grounds. This is a fast-scoring ground. The runs, the average runs is way higher here than Durham. They've got to play a different brand of cricket here. We know our ground. We know our pitches. Andy and his team provided some magnificent pitches. We've got hybrid wickets in there now, which we've played on today. So we know our hybrids and how they play, and the artificial that's in there, the 5% artificial that's in there, it makes a difference for bowlers and for batsmen. The bounce is a difference. The way the guys can play is different. So we're excited to play a great brand of cricket. It's about what we can do, getting our matchup right, and make sure that we commit and execute.
And as captain, Ackers, what would you say then is the way you're going to stamp your authority for the brand of cricket that we want to play in T20 this year?
I think ultimately what you want is a couple of match winners. I think 7 or 8 games get you into the quarterfinals. So each player needs to try and win one game for the team. It's that simple. It is difficult in T20 cricket to be very consistent. We're asking guys to play a very positive brand of cricket. So some guys aren't going to come off every game. But if they win us 1 or 2 games out of the 14 collectively, I think that'll be great for the team and it'll get us into finals day.
And Parky, Nico obviously touched there on the hybrid wickets. Do you have to do anything different on those to bowl differently and set up a different way on a hybrid wicket as you would to a normal wicket?
Yeah, I think they're a bit slower, a bit stoppier. But again, when we play here, all the pitches are really good pitches. As Nico alluded to, the pass scores are a lot higher here than at a lot of the grounds in the North Group. So I think it's important as a group that we realise that and we embrace the attitude that Colin wants us to have, play positive cricket, look to score boundaries, look to win the power play with bat and ball. And if we do that, we're going to be in good hands.
And Claude, have you had any influence on the brand of cricket that we played? Obviously, those 3 T20 titles, if you're trying to replicate that in the current squad setup?
Just have fun, be positive and go for it.
Well, there we go. I think that's all the questions that we've got for tonight. So thank you for joining us here on Foxes TV and on Facebook. We hope we answered your questions to reflect on the County Championship and to preview, of course, the T20, which starts here at Upton Steel County Ground on Thursday against Durham. You can get your tickets online, of course, by going to leicestershirecc.co.uk